What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying the Fenix A320. We're not flying the PMDG 737 today. We're going to be flying Fenix A320 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Boston, Massachusetts. I'm still learning this plane a little bit, so forgive me if there's small mistakes that I might make, but I'm really enjoying this plane. I haven't done anything in the plane, so we'll jump inside. Look at the jetway there. Jetway didn't quite make it out to the plane. But we'll go ahead and jump inside the plane, and we'll start working through it. And I'll show you guys the plane, let you guys hear my thoughts on it. I do love it. It is a great plane. Textures are freaking awesome. I love the iPad. So with the iPad, I'm going to be able to show you guys a lot more stuff that I don't normally get to show you. But first, let's get overhead. Let's get our batteries turned on and get on our ground power here. So we'll go on external power. We'll get these guys turned on. We'll get our crew supply on. We'll get our recorder turned on. We get our wing lights, nav and logo, our seatbelts, no smoking, emergency exit lights, and that's all for up there. We'll let everything load up here. We'll set this to that way. I don't know what that Q&H. Yeah, Q&H. And we'll jump over here. So first thing that I need to do is our pilot's brief. I can download this straight from SimBrief. I've already linked to my SimBrief account. And this is a lot of the information that I don't get to show you guys. Like, for instance, flight level 350. Our cost index is 2.2. Our average winds. Every time I'm doing my wind information in the 737, this right here, if you scroll down, wind information, this is where I'm getting it from. So at our climb, or our top of climb, flight level 350, that's going to be our winds and temps. So stuff like that I never really get to show off, which I'll be able to today. We'll head over to here to the Fenix app, and we'll get our SimBrief flight plan imported to here. All right, so we have our flight, our route, and our weather for arriving and alternate. We'll keep it on departing for now. We also have ground services. So we have our tug here. So we have a back, left, and right tug. I won't be just pushing straight back and full ruddering it one direction or the other. We can open up all our doors and everything here. This page is where I'm going to input some information about the balance, panel states, and everything like that. Other thing we need to open up is our Navigraph. So I will be able to show you guys the charts. I'm not using any off-screen or third-party applications. Everything is going to be done in the sim, which is huge. I love it. I don't have to look at another screen and you guys not be able to see it. You'll be able to see everything that I'm doing now. You'll be able to see all my charts. So for Pittsburgh, we can type or click on that. We can look at ground charts, for instance, and we'll do it the day charts. There's our taxi chart, and there's where we are. So we're taking off runway 28 center today. So, you know, we'll back out to Victor or Tango and take that down to Echo. Take Echo all the way down to the runway. Absolutely loving this so far. So let's jump down here and let's start getting our flight plan. Select desired system. We'll do that in a second. Flight plan. Nope, not there. Cancel. I didn't mean to do that. Config. So we'll start out with our fuel. So normally I would be getting my fuel off another page, but for those of you wondering like where that information is, I can show you right here. So maximum right here, our zero fuel weight is 137,789. Our estimated is 121,588. And then our block fuel right here, 14,708. And I believe today, I could be wrong, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong, that we're going to be using the estimated, which is 121,588. So we'll jump down here. We'll put that in 121,588. We'll put that into here. And then we'll jump back up here, and our block fuel was 14,708. So we'll put that in here as well. 14,708. All right, so we have our fuel and everything situated. We can go ahead and click return. We'll go to MCDU menu. We'll go to ATSU, AOC, flight init, and we will request it. This will pull our flight sim straight from SimBrief. We've already linked our SimBrief to the plane, so there it is. It just populated. We'll head over to init, and we'll do the same thing here. We're gonna have to put in a little bit of information here though today. We're not flying a real flight. We're doing just a SimBrief flight. So today we're doing DAL215. Cost index and cruise a flight temp. Or cruise, sorry. Which was, I think, flight level 350, which it will auto-populate the temperature. There it is. And our cost index, we went over earlier, but I don't remember what it was. 22. Whoops. So we'll put our cost index here as 22. We can head over to our wins. So we can request our wins, or we can manually put them in. So for instance, here are climb wins. We would come over here and we would scroll down to our wins section. And we would put all this climb wind information in. I believe starting from the bottom. No, I guess you could start from the top. All the way up to 350. So from 10,000 feet to 35,000 feet, you would input all these. Now, luckily, there's a feature that we can just request our winds, and we don't have to put all that in. But if you wanted to, that's how you would do it. So if we go next page, next phase, well, we're just kind of going back and forth, but all of our climb information is in there now, our wins. So we can head over to our performance page. With that, we're going to jump over here to, I think first we need to resend load sheet and load the aircraft. So now, once we hit load aircraft, this is loading the fuel and the people and everything onto the plane. And this is all the people that are on the plane and where they're sitting and, you know, what class they're in. That's pretty cool that they provided that. Our zero fuel weight and our center of gravity we're going to need soon. But for now, we're going to go to our departure performance. This is what's going to help us generate all the information we need there. So sync load sheet, 10 center, dry. We'll sync live weather. We'll turn our packs off. Our tow weight, 135.8. I want to see if that's pulling from this, if that's correct. So if we go to our weights here, we can see tow 135.8. That is correct. So we'll head over to our departure performance information. And I think we've already synced the live weather. This is just saying what airport, what runway, conditions of the runway, and then the aircraft configuration, flap configuration. It's going to auto-generate that. The only thing that I change is our packs, because our packs are going to be on. We're not using anti-ice today, so we don't have to worry about that. And we can go ahead and click calculate. And that's going to generate our V1 speeds, our flaps, and our flex temp. So 129, 135, 135. So 129, 135, 135. Our flaps are going to be 1 DN 0.4, 1/DN 0.4. There we are. And our flex temp is 66, and this is 2140. So 66 on the flex temp, 2140/2140. Put that there, and 2140 here. We'll go ahead and head over to next phase, next phase, next phase, next phase. Our approach information. We can put some of this in now, but we will need to update it once we're a little bit closer. So we can head over to the Fenix app, and we can go to My Flight and get our approach MEDAR. So 120 at 8, 10-mile visibility, broken at 6,500, broken at 25,000. Temperature's 25, dew point 16, altimeter 3014. So 120.8 and 25. So 120.8. Not 0.8/8. That's going to be our mags and winds. Our temperature is going to be 25. 3014 is going to be our QNH. And our, whoop, let's make sure that was right. 3014. Okay. So we got to head over here. That's for arrival. We're arriving on runway 4 right. So we'll go back here and we'll head to approach ILS 4 right. Oop. Here we are. So we have our localizer, our final approach course, our airport elevation, and whoop, our landing barometer right here. So 218 is going to be our barrel and 200 would be our radio. So we're going to do 218. We'll drop that in there. We'll head over to next phase. What's none of that? Everything's good there. So we actually have to head over to flight plan and finish inputting it. So from Pittsburgh, we're going to be doing direct off of 28 Center. We're not flying a departure. So whoop. 28 Center. We'll insert that. And Boston, we're going to be arriving runway 4 right, the J Fund arrival, ILS 4 right, J Fund 2, and this transition. So go ahead and insert that. We could jump up here. We'll set this to plan mode, and just like we would in the 737, we can step through. That's the wrong way. Step through the flight. Make sure everything looks okay. All right, everything's good so far. We fly up, we fly around, and then here we will give ourselves a vector over to final. All right, everything looks good there. So we'll set this back to arc mode. We're gonna turn constraints on here. We'll turn constraints on here. We're gonna jump back down here. We'll head over to performance. Where they're in it. It's one of these two pages. Here we go. So 0 fuel weight. That's the information that we needed for. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Still getting used to these buttons, so sorry about that. So we need to head to mass and balance. So our 0 fuel weight is going to be what our 0 fuel weight is. So 121,646.31.4. 121,646 slash 30 point, or was it 31.4? 31.4. Yeah. We can drop that in there. Invalid entry. What did I do wrong? Oh, okay. It's going to be 121.6. 121.6. 31.4. There we are. And then our block fuel, I don't remember, so we'll head back over to here and we'll grab that again. Block fuel, 14,708. 14,000.8. Put that in there. And I think we're all set there. Flight level 350. Head over to flight plan. We're going to be ready for push and start here soon. We can get this up to 350. There we are. And let's pull up our taxi charts because we're going to be pushing back here in a second. Let me get my APU going first. We'll get our fuel pumps turned on. We'll get our beacon light on in a second. APU bleed can come on. Master can come on. And we can start the APU. Well, I guess we got to wait for the flap to open before we can do that. So we can head over here and we can see APU. We're waiting for it to say APU flap open, I think it is, or APU door. It says something here, one of those two. And as soon as that's open, then we should be able to actually start the, there we go, flap open, start the APU. So we'll get that going. We also have company message here. So if we jump in here and go to the, I think it's this page, ATSU, yep, AOC menu, and we can go to received messages. This is our load sheet information, which I'm still not 100%. I mean, this is the people and the weights and the fuel. And I'm not 100% sure how to properly read these or what exactly they're telling me. So that's something hopefully I'll learn in the near future. I mean, it looks like it's just telling me my fuel and the weight that's on the plane with the people and the cargo and all that stuff. So we'll head back over to the flight plan, and we'll wait for that. The APU is now ready, so we can go ahead and go off of our ground power. We can come over here. We'll go to ground services. Ground services. We'll go ahead and release the GPU. We'll get rid of the wheel chocks, and we will call to connect our tug. While we wait on that, let me pull back up Navigraph here. Let's take a look at our taxi chart. And I know we're taxiing, I think, to the right. So we're pushing back to the left, I think. Ground charts. Airport info. So let's zoom this in here. So we're right here. We'll taxi out tail to the right. So we want to be facing to our left. Is that right? Yeah, back tail right. So confused as to where we are. Yeah, we're gonna tail to the right, so we're facing the left. All right, and then we'll pull out onto Victor. We could either take Victor or Tango. All right, we'll take Victor, and we'll take Victor. Oh yeah, there's also this feature, which I was like, yo, this is gonna be great for videos. So we could taxi out here, and then down, and then to Tango or Echo. We'll take Echo all the way down, and that's where we're gonna line up. Pretty simple, right? If there's a way to mess it up, I will, so let's find it. Our barometer here we need. I keep doing that. Still getting used to the quick keys on here. So I'll head over to Phoenix again real quick, and we can head up to my flight. And our departing runway or airport, 10-mile visibility, and fuel at 7,500, scattered at 12,000, temperature 26 Celsius, and 9 dew point, 3023. Now these should be connected. 3, which they're not. I gotta turn that back on. So you can link these so that you don't have to do both. There we are, and I think it's in this sim setting here, and then it's what is it, controls maybe? There you go. So you can do linked, barrel controls linked. We'll head back over to ground services, and we can release our parking brake, and we will start a straight back pushback. Oh, we gotta click start. There we go. We'll go ahead and get this set to ignition, and we'll get our right engine started up. Let that engine come to life. Start a right turn here in a minute. The switch is spazzing out on me. I don't know why it's doing that. And we'll push back to the right. There we are. I don't think that engine's coming up because that switch is like spazzing out. I don't know why that switch is spazzing out. I'll have to fix that in a second. And we can go ahead and stop pushback there. And we'll put our brake on. It looks like even though that switch is spazzing out, our engine's coming up. I don't know what the deal is with that switch. That is weird. So now it wants to stay. That's not, I don't think that's the Phoenix. I don't think that's an issue with Phoenix. I think that's, I have the Thrustmaster Airbus edition or whatever they are, throttles and stuff. We can go ahead and disconnect our tug here. And I think that that's a problem with the actual switch. So we'll go ahead and get our left engine started. Hopefully that switch, I don't know, stops spazzing out. But we'll go ahead and get our TCAS turned to auto. We'll set it to TARA. We'll arm our speed brakes. We're doing a flaps 1 configuration and a max auto brake. We have everything good there. Also, we needed to toggle on our beacon lights before we started moving, which I forgot. And we're getting our left engine up now. As you can see here, That thing is driving me nuts. I'm gonna have to unprogram that button. Hopefully when I set it back to center, it stays there. Which instead of doing that, if it does that, I'll go in my settings and just turn it off, because we're not going to need it again once the plane's started. And we're about to stabilize here now. Just waiting for that engine to stabilize here. Ground spoilers are armed, seatbelts are on, no smoking is on, parking brake, ignition's on, and APU bleed is on. So we're almost ready for taxi. There we go. So let's go ahead and flip this switch to off, and let's hope it stays there. All right, everything seems good. We'll go to the overhead panel. We can go ahead and get our APU turned off now, and we're good to go. I think we're ready for taxi, so we can get our taxi lights turned on, and I think that's all we need. I think we're good. Let's take a look at our taxi chart again, although I do know where we're going, but I want it available so I can just look over at it. There we go. So we'll push out, we'll ride out to Victor, we'll take Victor down to Echo. So let's do that. We'll go ahead and release our parking brake, and we'll give ourselves a little bit of throttle and get ourselves moving. I am absolutely loving this plane. It is very, very different than the fly-by-wire. The fly-by-wire, don't get me wrong, is a terrific plane. I mean, they did an awesome job with it. This plane, like using my rudder pedals and, you know, my flight stick and everything, it feels like there's weight to it. It feels like I'm actually flying this thing. It doesn't feel like it's just a response to like a controller. It responds to its environment a lot. These are the big things that I've noticed. It seems that I have some frame rate lag, I guess, a little bit, not a lot. I did a fresh install of Microsoft Flight Sim last night, which I haven't done since I bought the game, and I think it definitely made a difference in my frame rate. Where am I? I didn't even get on Victor. Of course not. So I gotta go over one. But doing a fresh install made a huge difference. And at least so far, I mean, I'm maintaining about 10 frames more than I was. So there's that. I really love that everything is built into the plane as far as Navigraph and MEDAR and weight and balances and everything. The operational flight documents, where you can see my weights and everything. As far as being able to record videos and stream, it makes a big difference not having to use any application outside of the sim. Even if I wasn't, I think I have to make a left here. Yeah, this is Echo. Even if I wasn't streaming, it's still huge to have everything in game instead of having to have other applications running. I mean, a lot of people don't have multiple monitors. Luckily, I do have multiple monitors, but for people who don't, having to use an outside application for that stuff, like, can be really taxing and kind of suck. So that's one of the big features that I really like about it. Also, I don't think we did our warning tests, which are up here. There's I still have to learn some of the flow in this, you know, like the checks and the flows and everything. I don't know everything in this plane the way it's supposed to be done in the order that it's supposed to be done. So I'll be trying to tidy that up as I make more videos and learn more things about it. And we are on the proper taxiway. So we'll cross over runway 14 and we'll continue to all the way down to 28 Center. So we got a little bit of ways to go. If you guys are enjoying this, drop a like, leave a comment. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button if this is the kind of content you like. As always, if there's somewhere you want me to fly, let me know and I'll try and make it happen. And it looks like it's going to be clear skies today. I don't think we really have any weather interference. We can go ahead and toggle on our terrain. The terrain does work in here, which I don't think it did in the fly-by-wire. I could be wrong. Maybe they updated it, but last I remember it wasn't working in that. Zoom this out one. Did turn it on, so I don't think it's, maybe it's bugging out. I don't know. I haven't had any problems with the terrain, so maybe there just isn't any to, no, I can see terrain. That's all right. We'll just leave it and see what happens. We're coming down to where we're going to cross the runway here in just a second. We're kind of flying. Let's slow down a little bit. Set our engines back to idle, and there we go. So we're going to cross the runway here in just a minute. We're crossing over Papa now. And then I think we're kind of zigzagging to the right and then back to the left a little bit. So we'll go ahead and cross this runway here. Also, once we're in the air, I want to double check our ILS frequencies for approach, because I didn't set our ILS frequency or our course. So we'll do that. We can probably do that actually before we take off. I want to make sure I have that because I'll forget. And then wonder why we don't have a localizer and we're not landing right. See, taxiing in this plane feels like there's a giant aircraft behind you. Like you actually feel it there. It's so good. They did a really good job. I was reluctant to buy it, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a try. I'm gonna end up buying it one day anyway, so I may as well just do it now. All right, so we're gonna start slowing down. Is this the whole short line? I guess so. All right, well, we'll stop here. We'll toggle our brake on. And we're landing runway 4 right. So let's jump over here. Let's take a look at our charts real quick. And, oh, we're already in our charts. What am I doing? We'll go back. We'll go to KBOS, approach ILS 4 right. And it's going to be 110.3 and 35. So we'll jump down here. We'll go to radio nav 110.3. Can go there. And I already forgot the course, which was 35. So I think it's F 035. Final 035. Is that right? I believe. Yeah, I guess so. All right, we can go back out of here, and we don't need our taxi chart anymore, so we can back out of here and we can head to route. This is our route today, in case you guys are curious. I forgot to show that. And we'll get ready for departure here. So we can get our strobe lights on, our runway turnoff lights on. We'll get our landing lights on. Nav lights can come on, and we can get our, I didn't mean to do that. Our takeoff lights can come on. All right, we're ready to pull out onto the runway. We'll go ahead and release our parking brake. Give ourselves a little bit of throttle. Pull out onto this runway, and we're gonna get out of here. I wish there was a way to level out the brightness outside the plane and the brightness in the plane, because this runway is very bright. I mean, I know it is for you, but it also is for me. So it's not just what you're seeing. I'm seeing it just like that. And maybe it's supposed to be like that. I guess that's what it would really look like if the sun was beating down on it. I don't know what that was. A little glitch right there. But we're ready for departure, so we're just gonna roll right on out of here. So we'll bring our throttles up. We'll get them about halfway. And we'll set ourselves to toga. We'll watch for our V speeds. 80 knots. There's our V1, and we're gonna rotate. And positive rate of climb, we'll gear up. And we'll nose ourselves down just a little bit here, just to get up to our flap speeds. We're going to fly straight out, and then we will turn onto our course, and we'll set our levers back to climb mode. They'll go into auto throttle. We'll keep our nose down a little bit here. There we are. And we'll go ahead and go into autopilot, and we'll jump down here, and we're going to go, yes, I know, we'll go flight plan, direct, and we'll head to here, execute. We'll start our right turn. I set up wing views, but they're a little bit different in this than in the other, than in the 737. Oh, I also need to turn the cabin lights off, which you can do. So let's get those turned off. We'll head over to Fenix, sim settings, cabin, and we'll toggle those lights off. And what that does is turns off the lights for all the passengers, you know, the cabin lights. Beautiful turn out of here. Our landing gear is up, our flaps are up. We can whoop, I just hit G by accident, which probably started putting our landing gear down. We're good. Okay, so we can go ahead and get our runway turn off lights off. We can get our taxi lights turned off, and we'll leave our landing lights on. Our nav and logo lights will stay on, and everything else will stay on. So there we are, turning on to course. We're at 6,600 and climbing. Let's take a look at our chart, see where we're at. We'll center it on us. There we are. That's where we are. We're heading to this waypoint right here, and then we'll be on course. Beautiful departure so far. We can unarm our spoilers, and we can toggle off our seatbelts. Yeah, we're good. We can toggle off our seatbelts. All right, coming up on 10,000 here in just a second, and we will get our landing lights off, and we are stable. We're in a stable climb. Now there's some new markers on here which the fly-by-wire doesn't have. So this right here is going to be our top of climb. That's going to be when we reach our cruise altitude, and we'll have another one on the other end, which I don't think I can get out to just yet. Yeah, it's still too far. It will be our top of descent, where we have to start our descent. Crossing over 10,000, we can go ahead and get our landing lights turned off, and we are good. Bye-bye, Pittsburgh. Great departure. This plane is like, I don't know, man. To me, this is like the Cadillac in the sky. I freaking love flying this. Absolutely love flying this. But we have everything set up. We don't have any alerts. We can set this. We're in open climb mode, so we'll set that into VNAV climb, which is indicated by that dot there. If you don't have that dot there, that means that it's in an open climb, and you can click down. If you click down, it's essentially pulling that knob out, and if you click up, it's pushing that knob in. So for all of these, for speed, heading, and altitude, when you see the dot, that means it's pushed in. That means the airplane is managing whichever one it is, your heading, altitude, or heading speed. When you pull it out, that's saying that I'm going to control it. So that's what that stuff does. Unfortunately, I didn't see anything working on the terrain today, so I don't know if that's just a bug. I haven't had that issue. Maybe if I reloaded the plane, it would probably be working fine, but I didn't see anything pop up on our terrain today. Climbing up through 14,000. I'm going to stay with you guys until about 18,000. And then we'll jump in this front window view. Probably about like that. We'll do a time lapse. You might see me jump out every now and then just to see if we're closer to our top of descent, because I do have to set it. But other than that, it'll be a pretty smooth time lapse. Jump in that wing view while we're turning. You can see the exhaust, you know, changing how you see everything. It's pretty cool, interfering with the view. I think I have I mean, I think I have an engine view. It's over here though. There we go. Hopefully the volumes for the plane aren't too loud. I haven't really adjusted them accordingly to this plane. They're still, the volumes are adjusted to the 737, so sorry if my mic isn't louder than the sounds and it's kind of washing it out a little bit. I'll after this video I'll be able to see how it sounds and adjust accordingly. But we crossed over our 18,000. We go ahead and stick this into standard mode by, whoops, pulling it out. There we go. And since we linked them, they both pull out. Otherwise, normally you would have to set both of them. And I kept getting an alert saying that there was something wrong with my barometers. They weren't matched. There was a mismatch, and that was because of that. All right, so we're looking at about, I think, an hour and 12 minutes airtime, which isn't too bad. Let's see if we can see our top of descent yet. I don't think so. Somewhere our top of descent will be up here. We have a little bit of ways to go, so I will go ahead and jump into the window view. We'll keep an eye on the engines and everything, and hope you guys enjoy the flight. I will see you at the end of the time lapse when we start our descent. Welcome back. We are coming up on our top of descent right here, as you can see, and I wanted you guys to see how we do that. So we're going to put this down to about, we'll say 10,000. I don't know why I'm screwing that up. And once we cross over this top of descent, we'll see a green ball right here, and that's when we want to activate our descent mode. There it is. We'll go ahead and activate it. Click that in. So the plane's going to pitch down, and it's going to catch up with that green dial, and that dial is going to be, it says more drag. We can, no, we don't need any drag. That green dot is going to be our VNAV path. So, and that's where we're going to catch up to it. There we are. We are now caught up to our VNAV path. So I wanted to jump out. We're at the top of our descent. We just started descending. I wanted to jump out and make sure you guys saw how to do that. So now the plane is pretty much going to follow that descent rate all the way down to whatever altitude we set it. And I just did 10,000 real quick. We're gonna have to adjust that, but this is where we are, and I want to pull up our charts and start taking a look at some stuff. So our Boston charts, we're gonna look at our arrival charts, and we're doing the JFun 2. And let's take a look at this. So we're not quite on our arrival just yet, but the transition that we're doing is this one. So we're going to be coming in from here. So we need to be at flight above 240 at this waypoint, at 280 knots above 210 at this waypoint, and so on and so forth. And we're going to be flying, I believe we're flying straight in here, and then a right turn, and then we'll vector over. So looks like 5,000 there. So runway 04 is the one that we're going to be landing on. So let's close this. Let's look at 04, and let's find out our intercept for the ILS is 1700. So in theory, I could set that down to 1700. We're going to set it down to 5. Once we get to 5, after we start our turn or somewhere around there, we'll see what's happening with our VNAV path at that point. We'll set it to go down to that 1700. Other things we need to do, we need to update our arrival. Too steep path ahead, that's okay. We need to set our arrival information again, because remember when we were putting in this information, I said we were gonna have to update it when we get a little bit closer, and I don't know why our barrow isn't there anymore. But anyway, that's why we do this stuff. We double check it. We're gonna head over to our weather. Well, you know what, we're right here. Let's grab our barrow, which is on this chart. 218 is gonna be our barometer. So 218, we'll put that in there. Our ILS 4 right, and we can go ahead and head over to our Fenix app, and we can grab our MEDAR stuff for the arrival. So we'll click arrival. So winds are 230 at 6, 3013 is the altimeter. So 230 at 06, 230 at 006. We'll drop that there. And 3013 I think was the altimeter. 3013, we'll put that in there. Our temperatures 28, so it dropped a little bit by 1 degree, or went up I guess a little bit. And our approach speeds are going to be 133. Yeah, 128 plus 5, 133. So that's going to be all of our approach information. Our radio and nav information, we have our ILS already in here. We have our course in here. So all of that is looking good. We'll head back over to flight plan. At some point it said it was too steep, but I think we're going to be okay. If not, we'll go into an open descent and we will manually descend. Was a pretty good flight. We had a little bit of turbulence, nothing too crazy, but we did have a lot more clouds. It looked like there was definitely some storms on the ground that I wasn't expecting. You can see the cloud coverage. There was some stormy weather back there if you go back and look. Another thing we could do here while we're waiting on our descent is we can go here to our approach performance. I don't think this loads anything into the plane. I think this just tells us all the information we need. So runway 4 right, dry. We'll refresh the MEDAR, apply the MEDAR. Landing weights, so we can grab that from here. So we'll head over to our weights, which is right here. Our landing weights estimated 129.2. So we'll head back over here. Oh, wrong one. So we'll put that in here. 129.2. We'll hit enter on that. We'll use medium auto brakes. I don't think we're doing an auto landing today. I don't think this has a Cat 3, so we're not going to be doing that. Manual landing, so flaps full, auto throttle on, idle, no reverser. This is where we're going to be able to stop under all of those conditions. Let's jump back down here. Performance, just want to double check here. Excuse me. All right. So now we're just basically in our descent. We're already down to about 22,000. Let's get our updated MEDAR for, well, 3013 I think it was, right? Yep. So 3013, 230 at 6 knots, 10-mile visibility, scattered at 7,000, broken at 25,000. Temperatures 28, dew points 11, altimeters 3013. Gotta be honest, I'm not 100% sure what this is. But that's okay. I'll learn that one day, or somebody in the comments can tell me what. Everything after the altimeter, remark, and then whatever this stuff is. Not too sure what that stuff is, but yeah. So we're coming down 21,000 now from 35,000. So we're getting down pretty quickly. Once we're below 18,000, we'll switch out of the standard mode and we'll get this get the altimeter set. Closer to 10,000, we'll toggle on our seatbelt signs. We'll start doing some of our approach checks, which is just auto brake. Get our auto brake armed. Speed brake can be armed. Our landing lights can come on. All that stuff. Take a look out of the side here. Let's get that engine view. There you go. There's an airport out there. So no issues as of yet, and it looks like our plane is going to abide by these constraints, so we should stop at 17,000 and level off until we cross it, which it looks like we're probably going to hit 17,000 pretty much right at it. There's 19,000. We're coming down to 18,000 here in a minute, so we're already cleared below, so we can go ahead and switch this out to 3013. There we are. Altimeters are set. They both have linked, so they're set. There's 18,500, and we're pitching down to catch back up to our glide slope since we changed our altimeter a little bit. But here we are. We're captured back onto the VNAV path. Going pretty good. Looks like we have about a 32 knot tailwind. We're going about 389 miles an hour. I don't know what this is in, if it's miles per hour or kilometers or what it is, but ground speed's 385. Temperatures and everything look good down here. No alerts. Thrusters are at idle. Engines are at idle. We're doing good. What's our descent rate? 1,700? Okay, so we're not descending too hard. It felt like we were. It was about an average descent. So we're going to break through some clouds, but there's not a whole lot going on. I don't think so. I mean, it's not saying that there's any rain or storms, but these clouds do look a little bit thick in front of us. We'll see what happens. We'll just continue on down. We're going to make a right turn somewhere up here. Yeah, see, we're going to make a hard right, and then we'll have to vector ourselves onto our next waypoint once we're closer to our final, which is where we're going to hold our altitude. I'd honestly like to hold our altitude around, like, I guess 5. I'd like to bring it down to like 4 if I can, or 3,500. We'll do 4. It might not even go down to 4. It might just hold our constraint. And it might not hold our constraint. We might have to tell it, hey, don't descend lower here. So we're crossing over at 14,000. We're on our glide slope, but our constraint is 14,000. This one we need to be between 12,000 and 11,000. So hopefully we can get ourselves down to that level. Looks like we're pitching down for speed. Or at least our speed indicators are up here. I don't know why we're not going that fast, but I guess because we're staying on our glide slope. Well, we'll just trust the plane's glide slope. It seems like we have everything set up right. This will be only my second or third completed flight in this plane, so I'm excited for this landing. Unfortunately, I don't believe runway 4 is a Cat 3. It doesn't say it in the chart that it's a Cat 3, so we won't be able to do a Cat 3 auto land. Oh, you know what? No, I'm wrong. They do have a... I'm looking at the a website that gives me all that information, and it says that Boston's 04 right does have a Cat 3 landing. So we can try and toggle on an auto approach and see what it does. It should lock onto a Cat 3. We'll see. Also, somebody pointed out to me last night, you can unplug that and you will start to lose battery power. I actually found that kind of funny. And be careful if you actually hit this button, because you can open this window too. You don't want to do that in flight. I'll show you if I remember when we're on the ground. I'll show you. I'll open that window for you. So it looks like we're making that constraint. We're gonna be pretty much right at 12,000. when we hit that waypoint, which is exactly where we need to be. We'll go right through this cloud here. We will start some of our checks pretty soon. We'll toggle on our seatbelts relatively soon. And our landing lights are going to come on in about 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet or so. Beautiful flying through these clouds. They did so good on the sounds in this plane too. Like I could probably fall asleep just listening to the sounds of the plane. They did a really good job. So there's 10,500. I think we're pretty much holding a constraint. 10,000 to 8,000 is where we need to be. So we'll probably descend pretty close to that. We can go ahead and toggle on our landing lights now. We'll get those on. And it's a little early, but we can go ahead and toggle on our seatbelt lights just to let people know and let the crews know. I think one of these buttons, this thing always turns off. I don't know why that turns off, but you can run a test and it says it's working. Oh, maybe not. Rain repellent. Well, here we are out of those clouds. So the airport's going to be over here somewhere. And we're going to fly past it, around it, loop around, and land. I think it's going to be a pretty good landing. At least I'm hoping so. Let's knock on wood. Oh, you know something I need to do? If we're landing 4 right, and you guys know if you watch my videos, I always forget which way I need to taxi after I land. So let's figure that out. So Boston, ground charts, airport info. And we're landing 4 right. This is a small runway. I thought we were landing over here or something. So 4 right. Wait. Is it this one's 4? Oh, this one's 4 right. Okay. So we need to get off to our left. I was confused. This is runway 32. I was like, that's a small runway. But we're landing this runway. Alright, cool. So we'll pretty much, we could probably just leave that up. We'll change it if we need to. There's 8,000. Everything seems to be doing just as it's supposed to. We could zoom this in probably 1 notch. Could be at 7,000 here, 6,000. And we'll start that right turn. That's the runway or an airport. We're gonna fly around. Which the airport is right there. I'll move over. You can see it right there. It's not fully rendered in yet. We're probably just not close enough. Going to a wing view. So right now we would be flying, I believe this is our base. And we'll be making a right turn soon for downwind. Which to me it looks like it's gonna be a crosswind. And then we'll turn final. So everything's going pretty well so far. It's going just as planned. Love this plane. Frame rate seems to have been pretty good. Especially after the fresh install of Flight Sim. Everything seems to be running pretty well. I'm definitely excited that there's a Cat 3 approach here. I didn't say it on the chart, I don't think. There's a right turn. Looks like we have an altitude constraint. We're going to hold that until we cross, which we're crossing in 1.4 nautical miles. So the plane's going to level off there to maintain that. We jump in a wing view while we do that turn. Look at everything rendering in. It looks absolutely beautiful down there. Look at that. Flying into Boston. It's always nice. Boston's always nice to fly into. I've always enjoyed flying into it. I'll jump back up here, make sure we're still on that VNAV path. Looks like we're pitching back down. So we got to be at 3,000 there. So we can put this down to 3,000. And then 1,700. Honestly, we could probably just put it down to 1,700. But I don't want it to descend. You know, it's kind of like a fail-safe. If the plane doesn't hold the constraint, you know, the altitude restriction will. The one that you have set, your altitude. So that's kind of how I'm using it. It looks like we're going to hold 6,000 for a while. At least until this waypoint. Now we're going to hold it for this waypoint too. So we're not dropping again until we start that turn. So we're going to maintain 6,000. We can turn terrain on. I wonder if terrain's going to work. Yeah, there it goes. So I think the blue is water. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the blue is water and the dark is land. And because it's sea level, it's flat, there's nothing to be a concern until we're a little bit lower. That won't really reflect too much. So we'll turn that off for now. Jump into that wing view again, see if we just flew past the airport. So there's the airport. And we're going to be landing on that runway. There's our right turn, so this would be our downwind. So what we can do now is we're holding 6,000. We're going to go ahead and bring this down to 5. So we can do an open descent. That'll bring us down to 5. We'll hold 5. Once we're a little bit closer, we'll come down to 4. And then at 4, once we're about here, we'll start that turn and we'll set it down to 3. And we should jump back onto that altitude constraint and everything. So we're just going to manually vector our altitudes for right now. So there's our open descent. We are down to 5. We'll hold at 5,000. I got down quick. I wasn't expecting to get down that fast. All right, we'll clear that. So we're continuing forward. We're not quite ready to make that turn yet. We are holding our speeds. I'm going to go ahead into manual speed mode as well, just to make sure it maintains that and doesn't try and speed up on us at any point. We'll bring it down to 210. There's our wing view again. Beautiful ground textures. Jump back up here. We are going to start that turn soon. Once we start that turn, we'll be looking for our localizer, and we'll be ready to toggle on our approach mode shortly after that. So we'll fly up maybe about another 5 miles, not too far, about where this dotted line is, and then we'll start that turn. And we'll head down to 3,000. Then once we're at 3,000, we intercept our glide slope VNAV path should be back with us, and we can just go right back onto that until we lock onto our localizer. So we're looking at that waypoint. So we'll go direct. I think it's Nabo, right? Yeah. Direct Nabo. We'll insert that. We'll start that right turn. We'll bring this down to 3. Go ahead and activate that. All right, we'll stay up here for now. We're going to be looking. There's our glide slope, so we could toggle on our VNAV path here in a minute. We can bring this down to, I think it was 2.7, or we'll just do 2.5 for now. And we'll toggle this on, capture that VNAV path. There we are. And we're back on par with the VNAV path. So we'll bring this down to, actually, I think it was 1,700. Whoop. There we are. 1,700. We'll keep an eye on our speeds, and we're going to start looking for our localizer. We'll get onto our localizer as soon as we can, and we'll start looking for our glide slope. So we'll complete this turn. And looks like everything's going pretty well so far. Altitudes are coming down. We start getting our speeds down soon. We'll toggle on our localizer, and we'll wait for a lock on that. Once we capture that, we will start slowing. Well, we can start slowing down now if we want. Let's bring it down to 195. We can introduce a notch of flaps. There's our localizer. Go ahead and get a notch of flaps in, and we'll go ahead and toggle on our approach mode, and we'll start looking for our glide slopes. Look like we have a glide slope capture, I believe. I don't know why ILS is blinking. I've never seen that, and I don't see the actual indicator here, which is interesting. But it says that we are on a glide slope. We can go ahead and get our runway turnoff lights can come on, our taxi and takeoff lights can come on, our strobe is on, everything is all set. All we got to do is drop the gear. We're going to monitor to make sure we actually are on this glide slope. It looks like we are. What if we do a... So it does say Cat 3. I don't know why ILS is blinking here. I don't know if that's telling me that we're on the ILS or what the deal is with that. But we're going to go ahead and bring our speeds down some more. We can go ahead and drop our gear. Get these down to about 175. It does say that we are on a Cat 3 dual approach. We'll go ahead and get ourselves fully configured here, which is full flaps. Landing gear is down. We're overspeeding just a little bit, but that's okay. We're coming down. We'll get our speeds down even more. I think it was 133. Or we'll do like, I don't know what the land seats. There's certain little things that I need to learn and look up. So I don't know what the actual landing speed of this aircraft is. I believe that VNAV approach, VAPP, was telling me that it was... Oh, and we need to go medium auto brakes. And arm these guys. All right, sorry, we're good now. I believe 133 is the approach speed, but there's little things like that that I need to look up and figure out. But I am shocked. I know I'm on the glide slope, but usually there's an indicator for it, and I'm not seeing that indicator, which is Unfortunate. I wish I was. I don't know if that's something that I didn't set in the settings or just a glitch, because usually you'll see a magenta line, arrow, something here that tells you, hey, this is where the glide slope is, and tells me how far on it or off it I am and everything like that.
1,000.
But this is a Cat 3 dual auto land approach. We'll see how smooth it goes. We have our reversers ready. We got our rudder pedals ready. And we pretty much shouldn't really have to do much until we're turned off the runway. I mean, it really should just complete the landing. We'll see. I'm ready to take control if I need to, but we'll see how smooth it goes. We'll get one last window view. Welcome to Boston. Beautiful. All right, let's get back up here.
500.
2 white, 2 red, 500. Speeds are looking good. Right on that glide slope, so we can go ahead and bring these down to 133. There we are.
300. 100 above. 200. Minimum.
Landing.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Retard. Retard.
And we are down. We'll go ahead and add. Whoa, whoa. We almost lost it there when it touched down. Yikes. All right. Man, that jerked us as soon as we landed. I was not ready for that. We can actually get right off the runway here. The auto brakes did their job. They stopped us pretty quickly. Man, I don't know why that jerked us like that. That was probably obviously my fault, but hey, not bad for a second time landing this plane. I definitely was quite a jolt there though. Probably have some complaining passengers. All right, we'll go ahead and put our brake on here. We'll go ahead and clean up. We'll get our flaps back in. Our autopilot is disengaged. We'll get our APU on and started. We can get our landing lights off. Our seatbelt lights can come off as well. Our strobe can come off. Oh, that's on. Our runway turn-off lights can come off. We'll keep our taxi lights on. Everything else looks good. We can turn our nav lights off and have just our logo lights on. We'll wait till that flap door is open for APU. It's open, and we'll go ahead and start our APU. We'll jump over here. We'll see where we're at. And it looks like we're gonna taxi down runway 33 right. Or we could go Mike. We'll do that. We're gonna taxi around it a little bit and take Mike. We'll go down to Quebec and go to the terminals there. All right, guys, let's go. I am sorry for that that abrupt landing. I think everything went pretty good. As soon as we touched down, I think what happened was I tried to interfere with the autopilot by using my rudder pedals and brakes, and everything was already set to do that, so I didn't need to do that. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. But hopefully our next flight will be a little bit smoother. Where are we going here? Gotta literally U-turn this here. There we go. And this is Mike, as you can see over here. So we'll take Mike down to Quebec. We'll cross runway, and then our next right after that, we'll head over to the terminals there. If you guys enjoyed this flight, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. And if there's somewhere you want me to fly, let me know. This is a new plane for me, so I am learning as I'm flying it. I don't really do a lot of offline flights where I'm not recording, so I'm really learning right in front of you guys. What is the problem here? Auto flight, autopilot off. Yeah, I know. Obviously it's off. I don't know how to clear that though. That's okay. All right, so we're gonna cross this runway. Oh, you know what? There is a clear button right here. Clear. There we go. We can unarm this. Flaps are set back to normal. We're gonna cross this runway and take that right here. Yep. So we'll go ahead and cross this runway, give ourselves a little more throttle to get across. I'll tell you what, just because you push up the throttles doesn't mean you feel that, you don't feel that movement right away, which is very realistic. You got to let them wind up and spool up, and then you start to feel the movement. Little things like that are so, it makes it so much more immersive. So we'll just taxi up to one of these gates. I do have the scenery here, but I don't have it installed. As I said, I did a fresh install. And because I did a fresh install, I haven't put in all my sceneries that I bought yet. So I will have to get those installed. But for now, this video, I don't have the scenery here. All right. Up here, we're going to be on the aprons and we can taxi at our own discretion. So we're gonna go to the left here, and then we'll taxi into one of these gates. All right, we'll do that. Let's see any taxi lines. We could do that, but we'd have to really pull that angle around. We could probably make that. We'll give it a try. I don't think you would ideally pull into this gate though. I think you would pull into one that you're oriented for. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they would. What do I know? I'm just a PC pilot. All right, we'll start slowing down here. Go ahead and jump into this wing view. There we are, and we'll go ahead and stop there. Go ahead and engage our brake. We'll jump back up front here. We can get our taxi lights turned off so we're not blinding anybody. Our APU is on. Everything is good to go. So all we need to do is cut our engines. We'll cut 1 and 2. And we are established on our APU. There we go. Engines came off. We'll jump over here. We get our Fenix app up. We can go ahead and set for D-board, and we'll get our ground services, which I think will connect once we click that. There we are. We have our jetway coming over. That's funny looking. Jetway's coming over. We can get established on our ground power. Wrong buttons. We'll go on ground. We're now on our ground power. We can turn off our APU bleed, turn off our master switch, and let our APU come off. There we are. All right, and that's it. That's our flight. Welcome to Boston. Look at the doors opening down here. Now there's no baggage, so I don't know, and our APU isn't off yet. Well, welcome to Boston. I hope you guys enjoyed that flight, and I will see you guys on the next flight.